Hello, my lovely listeners. Welcome to the Raw Reflections podcast brought to you by the Mirror Impact. My name is Ariel Keller, and today we are going to be talking about social distancing and just detachment from the world around us, the lovely COVID 19 coronavirus going around right now. We've got a lot of, we just officially went into quarantine like 14 days, stay inside bill passed today. So we are officially closed down the gym. We're going strictly virtual. We're making a lot of adjustments. And I actually am pre-recording, or I'm re-recording this podcast. I recorded it on Monday, and I just felt that I needed to record it again. I felt like I didn't say the things that I wanted to say in the best way that I could. So I'm gonna do it again. And then I'm probably not gonna edit a whole lot of this. So work with me. All right, so today we're going to be talking about social distancing and what we can do to help us feel that we are growing personally, emotionally, spiritually, in this time where we can decide to view it as a time of isolation and a time of almost like we're being sent to our room of punishment, or of, oh, this is something that is so negative. But we could also choose to look at it in a more positive sense, to where this is a time for reflection and rejuvenation, a time for being able to detach from the people that may be even toxic in our lives, how do I say this? The unprecedented drama that seems to fill your life that you don't necessarily seek out. If you seek out drama, then that's your own fault. But that's a whole nother podcast. But if you are kind of surrounded by these different circumstances or these different people, that this is an opportunity to be able to detach yourself from that and really examine what you want for your life, your social circles, your relationships, the people that you're living life with and that you're closest to, and even the family dynamics that you have, whether you want to continue in the same way that you have been going with your family members, or if you want to change that up in some degree. And this is a time when we can have that opportunity that we literally have to say, stay home. We can't focus on running different places. We can't blame it on all the errands that we had to run, or all of the, kids' soccer games and whatever it is. We can't blame it on that right now, because there's nothing to go to. We hardly want to go to the grocery store, because actually Justin mentioned it. I don't know why he mentioned it, because rarely does he go to the grocery store with me. But it's like the grocery store feels like a place that I'm dreading. And I was like, no kidding, bro. I've been there like 5 times in the last month, and every time it gets worse. So this is a time where trying to figure a lot of things out. There's not a lot of consistency. There's not a lot of regularity and routine, and that can look a lot different in every person's life. For me personally, I'm definitely noticing my workouts are not nearly as consistent, because I'm having to be at home, and especially with my training schedule being different as well, now that we're doing more virtual videos and those kinds of things, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find time to get workouts in. So I'm trying to incorporate getting my workouts in with recording my videos, and trying to get all of those, just making sure I get exercise and stay active. Sometimes even just doing some ab movements with my clients. Why not get some extra abs in there? You know what I mean? So I'm trying to stay active, but that's one thing that I definitely know that I need to maintain for my, not just my physical health and my digestive regularity, because that's really important, especially since I'm working from home a lot more, so I'm sitting a lot more. My body's not used to that sedentary lifestyle. So I'm trying to get up and walk around a little bit. I'll go from my bedroom to my living room to work, or I'll go to the kitchen table, or whatever I'm kind of feeling at that moment. Also trying to stay active in little walks here and there when it's nice outside, going to the park, outdoor workouts when I can, and then little yoga sessions in my living room when I have room. And you don't need a ton of room, so don't let that be an excuse. I don't have a ton of room in my house, but I try to get those workouts in as much as I can, not just for my physical, but also my mental health as well, because when we start to, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in detail today, but when we start to detach ourselves from that sense of community that helps us grow mentally and spiritually, like churches, gyms, counseling, maybe it's just that brunch that you get together with your girlfriends every weekend, you're not getting that social interaction. And we've talked about this in previous podcasts, how that social interaction releases a chemical in your brain called oxytocin, and that's kind of like that cuddle hormone, that feel good hormone that boosts that feeling of, oh, I feel good, I feel fulfilled socially, and I feel important. And I was actually so I have been reading this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and I just started reading this book. So far I like it. I'm not a big reader. I much prefer podcasts and audiobooks because I have a really hard time sitting still. Anyone who knows me personally completely understands that. But I was reading a line today in chapter 2, and it was the big secret of dealing with people, and it's talking about the inherent desires that people have to be. It's this quote from Sigmund Freud, Freud. I don't know how to Freud, whatever, said that everything you do springs from two motives: the sex urge and the desire to be great. And then John Dewey, one of America's most profound philosophers, phrased it a little bit differently, is in that the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. And later on in the book, it talked about it was another quote from someone who was talking about how it was like a craving, something that we crave to feel important and that we are seen, basically. And that can, you can interpret that in whatever way that you want, but ultimately there are a lot of things in our lives that we can automatically see, this makes sense. All of these things point back to these areas of origin and desiring to be seen, to feel important, to feel acknowledged. Even some childhood traumas in growing up and being neglected leads into the quote unquote daddy issues of some teenage girls trying to date as many people as they can because their desire is to be seen. And that's just one of many examples that it can translate into adolescence and adulthood. And when we are able to acknowledge that maybe that's something that we've not dealt with, or maybe that's something that we do need to deal with, then that's empowering. But for the sense of this, or for the sake of this podcast today, we can save that for another topic for another day, but we're talking about this in the element of our desire to feel importance is fulfilled in some ways by the interaction that we have with other people in a social, in-person standpoint. You can get some of this interaction via phone and virtual connection, but it's not always the same. So when we are lacking in that, it can keep us from feeling that sense of accomplishment or that sense of fulfillment. And when we acknowledge that that's something that we're lacking, we can either fill it with something that's going to benefit us or fill it with something that is going to harm us or hinder us from forward motion or positive improvement. And some of these things that we're going to experience over this time period when we're detached from other people, and some of these are big things that are a huge part of our life. Churches, gyms, fitness facilities. Maybe it's the I don't know. I wanted to say AA group. I don't know if you're a part of an AA group. Good for you if you are, but I don't know if I have anybody listening that is. But if you're a part of some sort of a group, that maybe it's a life group or some sort of a counseling group. I don't know what that looks like for you, but those social interactions and that accountability, when it's lacking or it's the routine of it has changed, sometimes we can feel those detachments creep up in the form of stress and anxiety, and it's a natural form of our body's response to dangerous situations or fear or something where it needs to go into that fight or flight response mode and protect your body or your mind. It will release certain chemicals, certain hormones, and those can translate into a lot of different things. And those are the things we're going to talk about real quick. And then some ways to combat some of those frustrations. So the first one is going to be fear and anxiety. Some of you who already have dealt with anxiety, then this is going to be a big one for you. And I want you to really think about ways that you can help manage your anxiety. And this is before, I mean, we're at day 1 of mandated quarantine here in Georgia. So if this is going to last for 14 days, I need to be planning right now on what is it that I'm going to do to combat my anxiety if it comes up in this time when I'm not seeing the people that help me manage it, help keep me focused, when I'm not doing the regular tasks that help me manage it, or maybe I'm not doing them in the same routine. If you're a schedule person, you're a routine person, this is going to come up for you even more, because that anxiety surfaces when we're not in control, and we're not going to be in control of this situation right now. And I don't feel that we're meant to. But I want to encourage you to write down some of the ways that you can plan ahead for those anxiety attacks, or those times when you're just buckled over with fear because your finances are really freaking you out, or you are running out of toilet paper and you're getting real anxious, or you're, and I'm just spitballing examples here. It may be something that's much more serious than that. Maybe you're dealing with something far beyond just the virus, or you're dealing with the virus for a personal family member or friend that has it, and that can bring up a whole other plethora of emotions. But in this sense, we have when we have planned out the strategy of how we're going to react to when our anxiety starts to spiral, then we can catch it before it gains momentum and starts going down that, downward spiral all the way to that dark hole that it's really hard to get yourself back out of. So think about the things that have helped you with your anxiety in the past. Some people that I know use certain grounding techniques, or they'll legitimately lay on the ground to ground themselves because they need to focus on the hard surface, or they'll need to touch something that's solid. Some people that I know use certain stones or crystals to just put them in the palm of their hand, and that helps them to focus and to kind of, depending on their opinion or openness to using stones in as a tool for energy work and those kinds of things. Depending on the stone that you get, you can help to ground yourself through the properties of that stone. So if you're open to that and you're interested, you can do some research for yourself on what stones could help you to where you have access to them all the time. And then with the pre-existing anxiety using methods, if you're on medication, continue taking your medication regularly. Obviously, listen to your doctors. If it gets too, like too much, or you need to call someone, like a specialist or some sort of a therapist, please do so. Or if it's more of a life coaching element and you're really needing just some encouragement and some practical strategies, I would be more than happy to set up a coaching call with you, and we could even set up consistent coaching calls if that's something that you feel like you would benefit from. I'm wanting to start offering that as a service, so when the interest is there, I'm going to add it. So if you're interested in something like that, please message me and let me know. And then if you have already been talking to someone, or maybe you just want to get in touch with a friend who encourages you, or in this case, see how you can encourage someone else. Everybody's on social media quite a bit more right now. There's a lot of people freaking out on social media. What good can you put into this whole social media realm? Ask yourself that question. What can I do? How can I comment on somebody's post to encourage them? How can I, let somebody know that I'm thinking about them, or I'm praying for them, or I'm, sending good vibes their way, or whatever that might look like for how you feel you can encourage someone. If you're in a position financially to where you feel like that's the best way to serve people, maybe getting some gift cards from Kroger and or someplace that's going to remain open as long as possible, and maybe bless some families that you don't know whether or not they are struggling with providing enough food for their kids being home all the time, or something like that. Dig deep, feel what's on your heart and how you might be able to help someone. And I've talked about this in my anxiety podcast when we were talking about when you serve someone, that same chemical, that oxytocin, is released, and it helps you to feel blessed, and you to have those chemical releases to help you feel more positive as well. Not that should be your intention as a selfish way, but it's still going to not only positively influence someone else, but also positively influence you, and could potentially affect the way that you're treating your family members in the house that you're quarantined in. So just keep that in mind. This may help to keep you sane. Encouraging someone else may keep you sane. Another thing that some things may bring up with the stress and the being inside a lot, especially if the weather is not the greatest. I know we've been having quite a bit of rain here in Georgia. We've had a couple of nice sunny days in like the high 50s, low 60s, but I know I have a lot of friends still in Ohio who are still dealing with those cold weather surges and those, snow, sleet, rain, all that crap, and it's not quite as easy to get outside and outdoors and do something. So I want to encourage you to do your best to get outside, at least open your windows, get some natural light, take some extra vitamin D maybe, double check your daily the milligrams that you should be taking. So double check the bottle, and if your multivitamin has vitamin D in it as well, just to get that extra boost, so you can try to stay positive a little bit more. And the boredom is going to help. The boredom is going to probably add in on that depression and blah feeling. So use this time to examine what you can do. What can you use this time for that could be productive, that could be beneficial for you, or someone around you? If you like to, maybe you reestablish a passion that you've not been able to exercise in quite some time. Maybe you enjoy doing art, painting, drawing, something like that. Maybe this is the time when you have to get out some paints, or get out some, paper and pencil, and just start sketching and refocus in on that creative side. Something that maybe it's music. Maybe you're wanting to stay connected to yourself and other people through music, or you just want to be able to share that, or you just want to experience that joy that you feel when you sing or when you play, and maybe you want to get a little bit better, maybe learn a new song, something like that. Find something that you like to do that's going to, it doesn't necessarily have to be productive. If you really enjoy playing video games and you want to use this time to zone in and learn this game and dominate it, that's fantastic. Go for it. But I do want you to also think about something you can do to benefit yourself emotionally or mentally, or spiritually. And this is going to help to counter that boredom. I'm spending a lot more time focusing on recording content and videos, and making sure I have stuff available for my virtual training clients. And that's something that I've been asking and wanting hoping for time to do, and I now have it. So there are times when we feel very stressed, overwhelmed, and overworked, and we're like, oh, I wish I just had time to do this. What is that thing? And I want you to focus on it. Let it be something that you can dedicate some time to, and focus in on that passion that you have for it. There's the senses of sadness and low mood and those kinds of things. Definitely, it's going to help to just get up, just stand up. Dopamine levels increase automatically when we stand up, let alone exercise or move around a little bit. My husband he's been trying to get this video game down. He's been playing Halo with his brother quite a bit, so they'll get their headsets on and chit chat with each other while they play video games together. And he'll dedicate some time to that throughout his day, or he'll look forward to that after he's done working, or on his time for lunch break. And then he'll do some crunches or some tricep dips or some squats in between his rounds, because he's like, all right, I'll just get up, do something. So I'll tease him and smile at him or whatever, but I'm actually quite proud of him, because I never told him to do that. He just does it. So that's going to help. Movement, anything active is going to help. So even if you're sitting down, you're doing something that is creative and that you enjoy doing, also try and stay as active as you can, because that's going to help increase those dopamine levels and help with that depression. And again, with the same concepts with the anxiety, plan ahead a strategy of, if I start to feel my depression coming on. Because if you know that seasonal depression hits you, or depression hits you more seasonally than it does during the summer, like in the more winter seasons than it does in the summer, you already know to expect it. But if you can know how to expect it, then you can also know how to react to it. And that's the part that we forget to plan. So think about, what are some things that can bring you up when you start to go down that depression spiral, and how you can be accountable to someone in those ways, or how you can remind yourself in a creative way, whether it be writing notes on your mirror, or it's doing an active everyday thankful list of at least 15 things that you're thankful for. I highly recommend that one. I've been doing that every day just to keep my focus on how thankful I am, rather than on the craziness around us right now. So I highly recommend that one. That's probably tip number 1 of all today. And we're going to go back through these in a second. All right, another one that another feeling or emotions we're going to possibly deal with over this time of social isolation, quarantine, is going to be anger, frustration, irritability, all of those, like the feelings that make you grit your teeth, that make you make faces where you're just like, oh, this person's annoying me so much. My husband won't stop poking me, and like randomly he'll just grab me like around. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? I'm trying to work. And let go of me. It's so, your children running around like crazy idiots, or getting frustrated at their schoolwork and you don't know how to help them. There's going to be a lot of different things that can cause those feelings of anger and irritability. So I want to encourage you to remember to take time for yourself. Remember to, even if right now I've been waking up an hour to an hour and a half before my husband, even though I'm not doing early classes anymore, I still am going to continue with that schedule, because I need that time in the morning where he's still asleep. It's my silent time. It's my time to reflect on the day before, reflect on what I want to accomplish for this day about to start. And I drink my coffee. Sometimes if it's nice, I'll sit outside. And it's just my time to listen to my music or listen to silence and just relax. So if you have the ability to do that, Even if you have to wake up a little bit earlier, if you have to put the kids to bed a little earlier so you can have that alone time. I remember my mom and dad used to make us go up to our rooms. Even when we were teenagers, they'd be like, all right, you guys have to be in your rooms by 10 because that's mom and dad's time. Like, we're going to sit downstairs, we're going to relax, chill, not have to worry about anybody asking us questions or, having to worry about anything for the next day. We're done thinking, we're done solving, we're just going to relax. Allowing yourself to have that time is something that you deserve. It's not something that you have to hold from yourself or that you have to earn. You deserve that time regardless of how, and that's something I've had to definitely train my mind in, is allowing myself to have those times of relaxation and rejuvenation. And also throughout the day, taking time to just take deep breaths. I like to do a 4 count, just thinking, 4, 3, 2, 1, inhale, and then exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, exhale all your still breath. And just do like 4 or 5 of those. Inhale through the nose and exhale. And just recentering yourself. Trying to use those breaths as almost as if you are you're inhaling all of the stress, frustration, anger, irritability. When you exhale, you're just going to kind of let it wash out. So it's like clean air, and then we just get rid of all the stale air and the stale energy and the frustration and irritability. So try that through your week, and keep in mind, if you do the breaths by themselves with zero intention on releasing any of your irritability, it's not going to work. I just want to let you know that now. I feel like that should be a common knowledge, but I'm going to set that as a disclaimer. If you go in and you're like, I'm so angry, it's not going to help. If you go in with the intention of, you know what, I'm going to lock myself in the bathroom for 2 minutes and I'm going to breathe. This is preferably before you go to the bathroom or in place of, but it's completely up to you. I don't know what kind of air you like to breathe. Oxygen air, hopefully. That was whatever. So try the breaths, try that as a reaction when you're starting to get a little bit overwhelmed, and see if that does anything for you. See if that helps. And again, allowing yourself time for that self-improvement, for physical exercise, staying active, or if it's some sort of a mental or educational builder, like a book or a course or some continuing education credits or something along those lines, to help improve your knowledge and focus. So another thing that we want to keep in mind through this whole pandemic is to watch what's going in our minds. So when we're talking about managing our fear and anxiety, depression and boredom, and our anger, frustration, all of these things are it's going to be harder to manage them if we're constantly filling our mind with negative sources of information or of fear-based news. I'm not saying that you should not stay up on what's going on with this virus. I definitely think that we need to stay informed. And when we stay informed, that's taking our power back. But I want to be clear that it's constantly filling our mind with these updates and these, oh no, this is happening, this other person died, this person's sick, da 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 da. That's not going to benefit the situation or us in any way, shape, or form. It's all going to happen, and we can do what we can to take precautions, but ultimately learning about how many more people are sick and stuff, focusing on it more than the life that we're living right now is not going to benefit anyone, even the people that are sick. So stay informed through trusted organizations. Some of those that I've done some research for, looked up what are the most reliable. Some suggestions were the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the U.S. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration and the World Health Organization are a couple of good sources for information on the virus and updates on the who's infected and death rates and all of that. But I would encourage you to limit that time that you spend throughout the day re-upping on what is going on or how many people have been affected by this virus. And very important, do not start your day with the news. I highly recommend that, because the first thing it's like the first thing, same concept with the first thing that you eat in the day is the most important thing, because that's when you're breaking that fast. Your body is fasting, it's not eating over the time that you're sleeping. So the first meal of the day is so important that you're not putting something in your body that's going to confuse your growth or your hunger hormones and make you crave sugar or crave whatever all day. Same thing with the negative information that we're putting in our body versus positive information or putting in our mind. If we're filling our mind with everything that's wrong with the world, the first thing in the day, it's going to linger with us, it's going to stick with us, and it could potentially negatively influence the way that we interact or the way that we are productive in our day. And I don't want that for my schedule, and I definitely don't want that for you. So I would encourage you to wait at least until maybe lunchtime to check in on the virus. Like, things can't really change that much within a couple of hours, can they? Like, compared to what we've been seeing, yeah, sure. But if we're already quarantined and we're inside, then does it matter? Do we have to check it first thing in the day? You know what I mean? Another good tip is to follow a daily routine. So like I said, I like to get up early, and I'm not an early morning person, guys. I've had to really work on that, but I do feel like my days are more productive when I wake up early. So I've been trying to wake up early, make sure I have that alone time in the beginning of my day, because I like to start my day with that. But whatever routine works for you and that works best for you, this is your time to continue with that and to make sure that that's something that you are making a priority, rather than just going with the flow and using this downtime to do nothing. So by forming a routine and a regular schedule throughout your day, and this may mean getting your kids up, this may mean getting up, getting coffee, reading something, this may be getting right into work, being done by 3 p.m. I don't know. Whatever that looks like for you, figure out what is most important in your day. What are the things that you would like to accomplish throughout the day, and the things that you absolutely have to accomplish. And then figure out time frames or however you like to schedule. But it's important to try and stay regular. If you can maintain somewhat of your original routine, if you liked it. If you didn't, this is an opportunity to change it up. Figure out what works for you. And you may find some, that you are able to work better by, waking up at a different time, or I don't know, play with it. This is your time to do that. But a routine, a schedule, very important. You're home a lot. Coming up with some sort of a schedule for meals is going to be very important if you plan on trying to maintain your nutrition and eating regularly. Plan a couple of easy, quick, I'm at home, but I don't really have time to stand here and cook for a while. I've been making these matcha smoothies. I'll have to share that smoothie on, I'm going to make that a post on my social media this week. So stay tuned for that. It's this matcha pineapple Greek yogurt smoothie, and it's the bomb. Oh, it's got ginger in it too, which is optional, but it's so good. Very yummy. I'll have to share that recipe with you. And I've been making that for my breakfast, which I eat at 11 is when I break my fast. And that's a great way to start my digestive system off too. So I've really been enjoying that. And the matcha is so much lighter than regular caffeine and coffee. I feel very bogged down by coffee, and the matcha just kind of lifts me up, helps me to think a little clearer. So I very much enjoy the matcha. I got it off of Amazon. It's real cheap. So everyday activities, incorporating your exercise. If you have a certain time that you were working out before that was working for you, stick to that schedule as much as possible. If you're working out over your lunch break, continue working out over your lunch break. Move the couch, get a towel or a mat, put it on the floor, do some push-ups, crunches, and squats. Like, even if you don't know how to do anything else, do a couple of things. I am going to be starting a Facebook group here in the next week or so for some free Facebook Live videos and pre-recorded videos, just some additional content for those who are interested in staying a little bit more connected and active physically. You can join the Mirror Impact group. Just go find me on Facebook, the Mirror Impact, and you can go to it should have a button that says join the group, and you can request to join the group there. It's the Mirror Impact group. I think I already said that. That's okay. Following a daily routine with your sleep schedule is a big one as well. Guys, this is an opportunity to catch up on the sleep that you may not have been able to get before. So use this time very wisely. Don't use it to stay up super duper late and not do anything except for watch television, please. Unless it's like a weekend, whatever. But if you can be productive and you can stay motivated, you're going to feel a greater sense of accomplishment, which is going to help with those feelings of anxiety, fear, lack of control, depression, boredom, all of that nasty negative emotions. That's going to help to combat all of those. So that feeling of little things that you can do, little accomplishments for that instant gratification is really going to help with that. And another thing you can do to help maintain that healthy lifestyle is, try and, getting enough sleep, eating well, exercising, and as much as you're physically capable to, but also I don't want to say avoid, but limit your use of drugs and alcohol as a way of coping with the isolation and quarantine. I know everybody's stocking up on alcohol right now because they're like, oh, I'm going to be inside for 14 days. I'm just going to be drunk all the time. That's probably not the best way to deal with boredom and depression and anxiety, because alcohol is a depressant. So keep that in mind when you're drinking your sorrows away while you have 14 days left of quarantine. Just FYI. I want you to definitely enjoy yourself. If you want to enjoy a glass of wine in the evening, sure, whatever. But make sure that it's not becoming a coping mechanism, because you can control that from this point. Don't let it become an issue. Catch it beforehand. That's all I'm saying. Enjoy yourself, but don't overdo it. Don't be crazy. You know what I mean? So backing up on just a little brief overview of what we talked about a little bit today with that fear and anxiety, your depression and boredom, working on and anger and frustration. We're wanting to focus on a game plan for each of these and how we can address these difficult, irritating emotions and react, because we do have control over our reactions. We don't necessarily have control over this whole virus and what's going on, but we do have control over our reactions to the situation and to the people around us that are stuck in the situation with us. So please, I beg of you, keep an open mind. Do your very best to be humble, to be graceful, to show others patience, and allow yourself time to take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. For those who have been a little bit disconnected from your church routine, I want to encourage you in the sense that maybe this is an opportunity to try out a new way of worship, a new way of connecting with your Creator. Maybe a lot of you who have served in the church quite a bit understand that it can become a job and it can become a distraction at times from your personal spiritual growth. And I want to encourage you to use this time of nothing to do. You don't have anyone to worry about or any job to do necessarily, other than, of course, praying for the people around you and serving the people around you, reaching out, doing what you can to donate and contribute to the food pantries and all of that. Absolutely, there are ways that we can serve in a lot of ways, but I also want to challenge you to tap into the spiritual connection that you may have been missing when you're so focused on serving others, because it can become a distraction at times. And not that it's a bad distraction, it just looking at times like these as a way to reflect and resonate with how we want to grow in the future. It's an opportunity, not necessarily an obstacle. And I would love for you to consider it in that way, to where you can open your mind to the possibilities and maybe the new perspectives, or a new understanding of something that you thought you completely understood before. Maybe it's learning how to be more meditative and listening more, rather than trying to just make these decisions based on what you feel. Maybe it's time to just listen and reflect and be open and aware, and, you know, sit and wait for what is about to come. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take action and you shouldn't move forward, but sometimes things happen to cause us to take a second and reevaluate where we are and what we're doing. So I want to encourage you, all of you, not just those who are lacking in their spiritual get-togethers, but also everyone else. All right, so we've kind of talked about a lot of different things today, and I'm sorry if I kind of went all over the place. Like I said, I re-recorded this because I didn't like the other one as well. Maybe I'm screwing this one up too. I have no idea. But I want to encourage you guys in this season of social distancing. Again, this is just a way of the government trying to protect us. And these are preventative measures. The lower the exposure, the lower the risk. And even though it's a little bit of a nuisance right now, and it may be screwing up your schedule and your routine, I want to encourage you that it's going to be over soon. Yes, it may last a little while. We don't know how long it may last. But I want to encourage you in that self-development, self-awareness, growing in, improving in whatever ways that we possibly can during this time, that we have a bit extra downtime, or we have more time at home and we can spend time with our families more. But choosing to look at the positive elements of this entire situation is really going to help us get through this in a much more tolerable way. And instead of just making it through, we can actually thrive through this. So I want to encourage you that in that today, please give me a like and follow, subscribe. If you want to be updated on the podcasts, I'm trying to release them each Wednesday. You can find me on Instagram at mirror.impact, and you can give me a follow on that one for encouragement and workouts. And you can find me on Facebook at The Mirror Impact. Also, add yourself to that group, and we'll get you in there so you can start being incorporated into the Facebook Live fitness videos as well. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your journey today. I will definitely keep y'all in my thoughts and prayers, as this whole thing it's very crazy, but I know that there's a reason behind it that's bigger than what we can even imagine, and there's going to be so much good that comes from this. We just have to stay focused on what's important, what we can do to improve in the situation that we're in currently, and how we can connect with each other in this time of kind of isolation and quarantine. How can we build community in that sense and build somebody else today? Thank you so much again for tuning in today. This has been the Raw Reflections podcast, brought to you by The Mirror Impact. My name is Ariel Keller. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you next time.